So, after taking a very long break from this series, I decided to make a comeback and talk about a country not many people think about when it comes to its gun laws. So, today I'm going to be talking about the Netherlands, which, boy, reading up on this one was a doozy. Now, I've decided to change this series up a little and talk about what you can get without a license or as much strain in any particular country as well, which in the case of the Netherlands would be crossbows, along with air guns of any power limit you can get without a license. Just be 18 years old and that's it. Yet you know what's confusing? You can't legally get a modern muzzle loading firearm in the Netherlands without a firearms license, which is truly bizarre and I find comical, as if you let people have big bore PCP rifles without a firearms license, then surely flintlock long guns aren't any more dangerous, if not arguably less so. But hey, nobody ever accused laws of making sense. So now you might be wondering, what exactly is the law to get a firearm license in the Netherlands? Well, it's quite a process, and because most of the sources are in Dutch, I had to ask a firearm license holder who lives in the Netherlands. The first step is to become a member of a shooting club. I asked this particular individual if there were enough shooting clubs to meet demand in the Netherlands, which they said was a complicated answer. After joining a club, you have to finish your introduction lessons. Good job, you're now half a member once this period lasts for about 6 months. Once these 6 months pass, you become a full-fledged member. Now you must be a member for another 12 months before you begin your process to get a license. When those 12 months are over, you go to the gun shop and go find yourself a 22 LR bolt gun or a 22 LR pistol/revolver, and only these two options. Once you have one of these reserved, you go to fill out something called the WM2. This folder contains details like serial number, what discipline the gun is for, etc. You send this to the head of your club, and once they approve and sign it, you go call KCT. Cart's taken. They will make an appointment with you to come deliver your WM2 and also a WM32. This document says you're not clinically insane, aren't depressed, etc. You also have to put on 3 reference contacts like direct family, close friends, or fellow club members. You also have to show your KNSA pass, which you will get this as a member of the sporting club, and your Skrpajate. I'm butchering a lot of words, I know. A little booklet that tracks how many times you've shot in a year. You need 18 minimum to get a license. Once you've shown all this paperwork, they will keep it, and you pay 120 euros or so. Then a cop will show up to check your gun safe. This should be anchored to the wall and floor. Once this is approved, you can pick up your license. And with this license, you can pick up your reserve gun from the gun store. For your first weapon, you can also get a shotgun if you can shoot clay targets at your club. After 1 year of having a gun license, you can have a maximum of 5 firearms, but no handgun bigger than 9mm and no semi-automatic rifle bigger than 22 LR. You can get those after your second year of having a gun license. Seems like a lot, right? Well, that's because it is. It's absolutely wild that it takes this long to get a firearm legally in the Netherlands. The overall cost of this, what I asked, was anywhere from 500 to 1,500 euros. Which, for my Canadian audience, that's the equivalent of 810 CAD to over 2.4K CAD. So with all those requirements out of the way, let's break down how the system is classist. 1. The insane amount of time and dedication to own a firearm is incredibly classist, while it's reasonable enough to make people who are trained enough to want people who are trained in firearm usage, making them go at least 18 times to a range makes absolutely no sense. 2. Requiring a safe to be bolted to a wall or floor is also highly classist, as it assumes someone owns rather than rents, which when a country has over 1/4 people renting, that's going to cause some serious classism. 3. Expecting someone to spend easily over $1,000 just to have the privilege to even own a firearm is quite ludicrous and very clearly classist. So what do I think would help improve this system? Well, firstly, lower the amount of times people need to go to a range. Making people go 18 times a year is quite arbitrary and makes very little sense. It would instead make a lot more sense to just have people do a one-time safety course to prove they're competent. Secondly, I would suggest getting rid of the requirement of having to bolt a safe to a wall or floor. It's not necessary for safe firearm storage or security. There are other options that people could do instead that are a lot less onerous. Finally, cut down the cost. Well, you can't exactly lower the cost of how much a shooting club fee costs. You can, however, remove all the licensing fees and mandate looser storage laws depending on the situation. Anyways, that's all for now. I'm not sure what the next country is going to be, or if I'm even going to make another video for this series. But till then, think differently.